Dragon Ball, horror, kaiju, and more. Steven's Toy Reviews.
Hey there, collectors, it's going to be Steven here, and welcome to not only my final patrons pick for now, but also my review of the Sci-Fi Revoltech Moguera. Yes, from the Showa era, the movie The Mysterians. Ooh, everybody's seen that movie. It's a certified banger. It's a classic, right? Everyone's seen it? Pretty much no one's seen it? Alright then, that's pretty cool. So Moguera is going to come to us from the Mysterians, and despite the fact that, everyone kind of knows and loves Moguera, pronunciation coming from Godzilla Unleashed, in the Heisei era, it actually gets a start from the movie The Mysterians from the Showa era. And this is going to be the only Moguera action figure of the Sci-Fi era. Admittedly, there's only one Heisei era action figure Moguera so far. Super 7's coming down the pipeline. Given the popularity, I am not going to expect a Showa era Moguera action figure coming ever again. So with that being said, and this is going to be potentially the only one on the market, are we good Showa era Moguera fans, or is our appetite never going to be satiated? Let's take a look to see whether or not this one's going to be worth adding into your collection. Accuracy? Well, I mean, realistically speaking, when you take something that's going to be a big bulky suit and you turn it into a 5-inch-ish scale action figure, especially a Revoltech where they do go for unique joint design over maybe the way that it looks. Unfortunately, there are going to have to be some stylistic and aesthetic choices that are going to have to get thrown out in favor of getting it to move around. So with that being said, Moguera looks fine in terms of capturing the idea of what Moguera is. Other than that, aside from some minor quality control issues here or there, just like little dings in the paint, I do not believe mine was used. Moguera is really cool. Now, there is going to be pretty much metallic blue and gold that is used throughout the figure, along with a touch of silver, which is amazing, and that's pretty much going to be it. The paint apps on Moguera are actually really impressive in person, and I really like the look of this figure. So even if you're not a fan of this character, it is very, very easy to appreciate just how well this figure looks. Moguera's articulation is pretty simple on the surface level, but if you do know how to work Revoltech joints, especially with modern-day Revoltechs kind of being a staple of some import figure collectors, congratulations, you pretty much know you've got yourself a diamond in the rough here. So this is going to be an old school sci-fi Revoltech, or a tokusatsu Revoltech, and everything is pretty much going to be a Revoltech revolver style joint. So if you're used to some things like where they're able to hide a ball joint here, or they have a hinge hidden there, not really going to be the case. As you can tell by the shoulders, which are going to be similar to, like, let's say Deadpool or Spider-Man, that's kind of the same sort of joint we have going on here. So it is going to be a swivel where it plugs into the body for the most part, a hinge, which is going to be a revolver joint that clicks, which means we don't have a fluid range of movement. We have set positions, which are going to act as hinges, and then we have another swivel where that peg is going to plug in the other portion of the body. So that is going to be the same pretty much throughout the entirety of the figure. So we can take a look at the head where it plugs in. It's going to be on a revolver joint as well, and pretty much not where the neck plugs in. So we can see that head connection, because at first I was kind of a little put off by the neck, but you can look up about that far, look down about that far because of the clear jaw, but of course, look from side to side. On the box, it is in Japanese, but I did use Google Lens to translate it. It's a pretty useful tool. There's also some arrows which indicate that the nose, the drill, can move. Unfortunately, mine, regardless of what I do, I cannot get the nose to move. As we will see in the accessories section, there are going to be alternate antennae pieces, and these do swivel because these do plug in. You have to plug those in out of the box. So like I did give an example for the shoulders, they do hinge and they do swivel. So we do have swivels where they plug in, which is really cool. So we get some nice alternate movement there. Very cool. Let's go ahead and pop it off so we can show you. So Moguera can T-pose, which is nice. And then we do have the same joint at the elbows. So we do get a hinge, so it clicks out, clicks in, and we get swivels at both points of connection. But keep in mind that for the drill, where the Heisei era Moguera would have it, the hand part, that is going to have this big old gauntlet type thing, this cuff. So that is going to restrict swivel movement a bit, and it's not going to look as good as maybe the Heisei era Moguera would have it. So something to keep in mind. Now, I am going to go ahead and pop Moguera apart here because this is actually how it's going to come right out of the box. You do have to pop this back fin on, and as you can see, there's going to be this one joint here. So we do have one joint for the ab crunch, effectively, and it unfortunately does not have a great range of movement. We get about sometimes a click forward and really no click back, but we can toss and turn from side to side on that swivel. Here's where kind of the benefit of a Revoltech joint sort of comes in, because we can get that hinge to move, and let's try it like this. So we can get, no, so that doesn't really work there. But what does work is we do have, well, let's go ahead and call it Moguera's skirt. Line this back up and pop it in. So Moguera's skirt here at the top, these are going to be on Revoltech joints, so they do flare out. As you can see, you get a little bit of swivel movement, but then we do have the thighs, the hip joints where they plug in. So these actually benefit from popping them off and turning the joint around, because you get this much forward and back movement. As you can see, the top of the skirt here does move, and we kick about that far back. But when we do have the joints positioned this way, we can only twist and turn from side to side, and we can't kick the leg out. But if we do like I just showed you, we pop the joint off and we twist it, we can get Moguera to kick to the side. So kind of like I just showed you up there, all you have to do is pop the leg off, and we just twist the joint, and we're good to go. So that's what I like to do. All right, so for the knees, it's pretty much a straight shot with a little bit of clearance in the back. So we do get that much clearance moving them backwards, moving them forwards. Once again, you can pop them off and get a little bit better side-to-side movement. Ankles are going to be Revoltech joints as usual. We're going to get nice hinges there, and we're also going to get ankle rocker movement. If you do play around with the legs, the movement is very, very fun, and I really like to play with this guy. Last but not least, we do have the tail, which plugs in. As you can see here, it's going to be a Revoltech joint as usual. It does feel a little finicky plugging in. It doesn't like to always plug in all the way for me, but nevertheless, clicks about that far. And then we obviously can twist and turn it, and for some reason, this little end here swivels around. Cool. So Moguera is definitely going to be a situation where you have to know how to utilize Revoltech joints effectively in order to get this one to pose. It is helpful that we do have the little tree base, the forest base that I showed you a bit earlier. So this way, if you have trouble posing, you can use this sort of like as a base for a support, but nevertheless, if you know how to push your figures a bit, you're going to have fun with Moguera. Now, we do have the Markalite cannon as well, and I'm bringing this one in to talk about it because there is going to be the dish, which moves up and down, and that's going to be about it for articulation pretty much in total for Moguera here. Now, actually, that'll be a good segue over into the accessories. So what do we get? Well, pretty much you've already seen everything that Moguera has to offer, except for a few things. So like I said before, Moguera is going to come with 2 sets of the antennae just in case you accidentally break them. We are going to have a forest display base, so this way Moguera can easily stand up, and it is really, really good. We do have the Markalite or FARP cannon that actually that forest base is what the cannon sets on, and then we are going to have a Mysterian little minifig. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at the cannon here because there are a lot of fun details here. The paint application is really, really cool for an accessory that has a whole bunch of smaller details, and that is something that I think the Kyoto releases were really, really well known for, despite the fact that even way back in the day when these released, they were really affordable. So kudos to them for this. I mean, I can't really say anything aside from it's very, very good. And it's small comparatively. I mean, according to what I'm able to find online, this is like 200 meters compared to Moguera's 50. Then we do have the Mysterian here. I mean, cool. Nevertheless, that we got it. All right. Neato. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and do a fun 360 spin view here. So this way you get an idea of a awkward scene you can make with the cannon or the FARP. I mean, I know it was like the 50s, but by modern day standards. Anyway, yeah, so you can have a fun diorama display with just what you get here. What I will say as well, what I didn't show is that back when this figure released, they were doing a nice campaign for Revoltech figures where you get little orange tokens and you can send them in for freebies. I think it was meant to be like a little sort of like ratchet thing that you can use to help with removing Revoltech joints and positioning them. It was really cool back in like 2010, 2011, but pretty much useless now. You can't use them. And then Moguera does also come with a little nameplate that just says Moguera, I think in 1957, I think was the year. Anyway, yeah, that was just cool, but it's not effectively an accessory that you can use to like recreate a scene from the movie. But hey, it's there and it's totally not in a bin with some other random accessories. That's why I don't have it. So yeah, if you are looking for other effect parts or display stands, you know I got videos to help you out. Here's a size comparison. We know that Revoltech figures are on the smaller side, at least from this time frame. So if you are thinking about picking this up, this era Moguera is going to be around 50 meters. So for actual scale, I actually have a whole video talking about scale of figures. This works pretty well unless you need this one to be 6 inches. Which good luck getting a Monster Arts. So buy now, skip, or wait for a deal. Not quite sure of current day Moguera prices, but honestly, I don't really see the casual kaiju fan who's like, yeah, I like Godzilla. Cool, Moguera, I'm going to get it. No, I see this actually being the dedicated Mysterian, I like this design fan. I'm going to pick this up. What are my chances of liking this? Well, congratulations. This is a really neat figure. The paint application is really nice. The articulation, there is a lot to be found here if you know what you're looking for. And honestly, the accessories are rather fitting. What would have been really cool is Moguera 2. You didn't know about Moguera 2? Yeah, check out The Mysterians. It's a pretty neat movie. It's almost as good as Half Human. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Overall, pretty rock solid. And unfortunately, we'll probably never get a Monster Arts. So this is going to be your only option if you want a Moguera action figure from the Showa era. Hey collectors, that's going to wrap up the video today. And as always, thanks for watching, commenting, sharing, subbing. It all helps. I always enjoy responding to comments, so be sure to drop one down below and I will respond if I can. I do have supporters on Patreon as well, and each review gets an end card to show who is supporting each month, so here are the end cards. Camera batteries, SD cards, even hard drives. It's not possible without that support, so thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Here's the final end card, so this way you can click subscribe, check out another video, or even check out the social media outlets. You know you want to. Before we end today, as in the description, there may be paid ad space, affiliate links, or product samples that were sent out in this video, so please check out the STR ad disclosure. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch ya in the next video.